out of the bath. Here's a look at the floor. Judging by all the painting, it looks like this will be the 4th time that I've put down this color for the floor. And basically it shows off a major point to me, and that's that I get bogged down in the priming and sanding phase. I think I'm ready to go with one part, something else comes up, some minor damage occurs to the original part, like in this case the floor got screwed up a couple times, so I had to sand it down, reprime it. So getting it down to this level is pretty good. This inner white here I think is bare plastic initially. This little bit of white there is more bare plastic. But yeah, so let's get to it. Alright, so I just gave this a quick pass with the Makita. There's a little scratching in there, and it turns out there was a little gunk on the sandpaper there. They put a lot of scratches in, so I've got a fresh sheet on now. There's a little bit of a hole there. Let's see what I can do for that. The rest of it I really like. There we go. I don't want to go too heavy in case I accidentally start melting the plastic. I'm a big fan of power tools, but a little too much can go far too far. Nice. I think that's it. Well, that's it until I put the primer on at least. Looks like there's a little excess around here I'm going to have to carve out. There we go. A little over here. And then this one got filled up. So earlier I was thinking some of those white areas here were the bare plastic, but nope. I finally found it right there. Original bare plastic. A little bit of a scratch in the paint part of it there. There's very few models where you'd actually be able to use a sander like I just did. So it's always nice when you can. This is 400 grit right here in my hand and on the sander. I might have some 600 around. I want to throw some primer on this and see how it looks at this point. Alright, so I'm going to go wash this down and let it dry. And then we'll see how it looks with some paint. And away we go. I'm pretty sure there's no dust on this. I want to go a little heavier on this side to help cover everything up. It's looking pretty good here in the light. I may have tried to do this a little too soon though. So you can see this spot right in there. That's pretty much where the Bondo was. And I'm hoping some of those little blobs there, this is Rust-Oleum sandable primer and it definitely goes down thick. Let's try and, how can I do this without disturbing it too much? So it's definitely wet where the Bondo mostly was. Maybe that you have to wait 24 hours. We'll take a look at it. And then on this piece here, there we go. Those drops are drying, definitely darker than the rest. They could still be a little wet. So let's leave this alone for a little while. Okay, so a primer and a sanding and all that gets me a seam that will not quit. Scratching the surface up, I'm not feeling my nail catch on anything. But they are still visible. I can't imagine why. Well, let's give them a little spray of white and see what happens. And what happens is this seam is completely gone, but this one is going to kill me. So with that, I am going to let this paint dry and go for some more Bondo. So I gotta ask myself, is this finally it? Having sanded down the floor, I got it pretty good here. The seam is just about invisible, but I also detected a few other problems around, so I switched the Makita up to some 600 grit, and I've been giving the floor a bit of a polish for a little while now. Those aren't shadows there you're seeing, that's actually sanded away bits, and I think I am ready to hopefully give this the final coat of primer. Woo! One other note is that you'll notice here there's some paint chipping going on, and that's because this part doesn't matter. It's not going to be seen by anyone, and it can look as crappy as it wants, and I am happy to let it do so. So let's move on. By gosh, I think this might finally be it. There's a little blob of paint up on the floor there, but that's going to go away real nice and easy. Everything else has a nice even coat of white, so when I put the browns down, there's not going to be any weird discoloration going on. I think as soon as this is dry, I am ready to go. And the first thing to be done, well, I'll have to give it a slight polish with the 600 grit again. Make sure there's nothing on the floor at all. And then the first color is the central circle. So after all that, what do we have here? A really big mess. So I'm gonna sort this out. I love the fact that I finally got rid of that seam. It's just gone at long last. And there's one here, but that's hidden, so it doesn't matter. I lost some details around the floor here, but otherwise that's cool. And everything looks good on these. These are ready to go. So let me clean up and we'll kick up the airbrush.